ఇంటర్మీడియట్ విద్యారంగంలో అగ్రగామి మన ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్. ఐఐటి, జేఈఈ అయినా, నీట్ అయినా తిరుగులేని విద్యా సంస్థ ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్.
This both sides of the pupil, both sides of the iris principally regulate the size of the pupil. By that way they regulate the amount of the light which have to be entered into the eyeball. This is the second layer. Next, third layer which is present, that third layer is said to be as the nervous tunic. Again, in the case of the nervous tunic, just below to that kind of the choroid, whatever the black colored portion which is present, just below to that kind of the choroid, whatever the black colored portion which is present, that is said to be as the non-nervous part, that is said to be as the melanin pigmented sheath. That non-nervous part is nothing but melanin pigmented sheath. That is the melanin pigmented sheath. That is the opaque in nature. Definitely, this kind of the melanin pigmented sheath also may not allows the pass of the light from the eye to out. Definitely this kind of the melanin pigmented sheath never allows the pass of the light from the eyeball to the out. Means definitely whatever the amount of the light which is entered into the eyeball, that have to be reaches to the retina, that have to be used for the recording of the image, that may not have to be escaped from the eye to the out. So that only definitely whatever the melanin pigmented sheath which is present just below to the choroid in both the sides, that kind of the melanin pigmented sheath always prevent escaping of the light which is entered into the eyeball to the out. It always prevent escaping of the light which is reaches into the eyeball from the eyeball to the out through its wall. Below to that kind of the non-nervous part, whatever the layer which is present, on both the sides, that kind of the layer is said to be as the retina. Just below to that kind of the non-nervous part, whatever the layer which is present, that is said to be as the retina. This is said to be as the retina, that is the nervous part. This is the nervous part, that is said to be as the retina. Again, in the case of the retina, this is the retina of this side. This is the retina of this side, this is the retina of this side. Again, in the retina, 3 layers of cells are present. 3 layers of cells are present like this. These are the layers of the cells like this. In the case of the retina of the person, 3 layers of the cells are present. Of that, the first layer of the cell which is present just below to the melanin pigmented sheath, that kind of the layer of the cells are said to be as the photoreceptor cell. Photoreceptor cell layer, just below to that kind of the melanin pigmented sheath, just below to the melanin pigmented sheath, this layer of the cells which are present, they are said to be as the photoreceptor cell. Second layer of the cells are the bipolar neurons. Second layer of the cells are said to be as the bipolar neurons. Again, third layer of the cells which are present, these are said to be as the ganglionated cells layer. Definitely, in the case of the retina, again 3 layers of the cells are present. 3 layers of the cells are present from outer to inner in a sequence. This is the inner, this is the outer portion. In the retina, this is the inner, this is the outer. So definitely in the case of the retina, outerly whatever the cells which are present, they are said to be as the photoreceptor cell. Below to that whatever the cells which are present, they are the bipolar neuron. Below to that whatever the cells which are present, they are said to be as the ganglionated cell. In this side also same. Definitely in this side also same. These are the photoreceptor cells. These are the bipolar neuron. These are the ganglionated cells of this side. So definitely in this case, what are the cells which are at first exposed to light which is entered into the vitreous chamber? This chamber is said to be as the vitreous chamber. What are the cells which are at first exposed to light which is entered into the vitreous chamber? Means ganglionated cells. But ganglionated cells are not able to generate action potential. Ganglionated cells are not able to generate action potential against to falling light, because these cells do not with the photorecepting pigments. This kind of the ganglionated cells as well as the bipolar neurons do not have the photoreceptor pigments. By that way, though light is passes over them, this kind of the cells may not be able to receive that kind of the light. This kind of the cells may not be able to generate the action potential. Definitely, at first the light which is reaches into this vitreous humor, that light is at first passes over that kind of the ganglionated cells and bipolar neuron, finally reaches to photoreceptor cell. Though light is passes at first over the ganglionated cell, later on to the bipolar neuron, these two type of the cells are not able to receive that kind of the light because they are without photoreceptor pigments. So that only simply light is passes over them, finally reaches to the photoreceptor cell. In photoreceptor cells, photoreceptor pigments are present. By that way, they receive that kind of the light. In response to that received light, they generate the action potential. So in that way, what are the cells of the retina which are at first affected against to falling light? Means ganglionated cells are at first exposed to the falling light. Later that light is passes over the bipolar neuron, finally reaches to the photoreceptor cell. Here very important sequence of the retina cells from outer to inner. This is the outer, this is the inner. In the retina, this is the outer, this is the inner. So that only outerly, what are the cells which are present? Means a photoreceptor cell, below to the bipolar neuron, below to the ganglionated cells are present. Very, very important in the NEET examination point of view. Sequence of these cells of retina from outer to inner. This is the outer, this is the inner. So that only photoreceptor cells are present outerly. Below to them bipolar neuron, below to them ganglionated cells are present. Again, when we observe the photoreceptor cells, definitely photoreceptor cells are of two types. Photoreceptor cells principally categorized into two types. What are they means? One is the rods. Second type of the cells are the cones. Definitely here you have to remember what are the differences between these two. Photoreceptor cells are of two types. In the case of this photoreceptor cells principally are of two types. What are the two type of the photoreceptor cells means? First type of the photoreceptor cells are said to be as the rods. Second type of the photoreceptor cells are the cone. Definitely, what are the differences between these two means? These are longer and slender. Definitely, rod cells are long. They also with the cylindrical. They are like that of the cylinder. They are the rounded. Definitely, rods are longer and slender. They are long and rounded. These cones are shorter and thicker. Definitely, this kind of the cone shells are short in length. They are very thick. Second, these are more. About 120 millions of rods are present in the retina of the eye of the person. Again, 6 millions. Only 6 millions of cone cells are present in the retina of the person. When compared to the rods, they are very few in number. Again, rods are with what kind of the photoreceptor pigment is present? What type of the photorecepting pigment is present in the rods means? Rods are with rhodopsin. Rhodopsin is also called as the visual purple. That is said to be as the visual purple. Visual purple. Definitely photorecepting pigment which is present in the case of the rod is the rhodopsin or visual purple. In cones, cones are with iodopsin or visual violet. Visual violet. That is said to be as the visual violet or the iodopsin. Definitely this rods always receive dim light. Definitely rhodopsin which is present, that is only always receive the dim light. Means these are rods are highly sensitive. Rods are sensitive to dim light. Again, cones are sensitive to bright light. Cones are sensitive to bright light, that means these rods always receive the dim light, so that only they may be useful for the dim light vision. Cones always useful to receive the bright light, so that only they are useful for the daylight vision. So next, these rods are useful for dim light or scotopic vision. Dim light vision is also called as the scotopic vision, but cones are useful for bright light vision. Cones are useful for bright light vision and as well as for color vision, for detection of the colors also. This cone cells are principally useful for detection of the color also. Cones are principally useful. Definitely these cone cells are principally categorized into three types: red cone cell, green cone cell, blue cone cell. Definitely rods are only one type. Rods are only one type. They are not categorized into various types. But cones are of three types. Cones are of three types: red cone cell, green cone cell, blue cone cell. So definitely cone cells are principally categorized into three types. Red cone cell, they are useful for detection of the red color. Green cone cell, they are useful for detection of the green color. Blue cone cell, they are useful for the detection of the blue color. In that way, so definitely photoreceptor cells which are present in the retina are of two types. One is said to be as the rod, second one is said to be as the cone. Rods are longer and slender, cones are shorter and thicker. These are more in number, they are 120 millions in number in the retina. These are 6 millions only, they are less in number. Rods are with the rhodopsin, that is the visual purple, that is the photoreceptor pigment. In the cones, iodopsin or visual violet is present. These rods are more sensitive for dim light, means these rods always receive the dim light. By that way they are useful for the dim light vision, that is the scotopic vision. But cones are always useful for viewing of the object in the daylight or bright light. They are also principally useful for color detection or color vision. Definitely these rods are only one type, but these cones are principally are of three types. Definitely this three type of the cone cells, are principally useful to detect various type of the colors. For example, whenever the more and more number of the red cone cells are activated and less number of the green and the blue cone cells are activated, finally appeared color is the red color. Similarly, whenever the more number of the green cone cells are activated, rest of the two are activated in low number, then finally appeared color is the green color. Whenever the more and more number of the blue cone cells are activated, rest of the two are activated in low number, then finally appeared color is the blue color. Means for detection of the various colors at various proportion, at various ratio, this three type of the cone cells are gets activated. If all red cone cells are gets activated, or of the green cone cells are activated, rest of the two are activated in low number, final appeared color is the green color. Otherwise, more and more number of the blue cone cells are activated, rest of the two are activated with low number, finally appeared color is the blue color. So in few cases, if all these three type of the cone cells are activated in equal number, if all this kind of the cone cells are activated in equal number, then finally appeared color is the white color. If the equal number of the red cone cell, green cone cell, blue cone cells are gets activated, then finally appeared color is the white color. That theory is said to be as the trichromacy theory. That is said to be as the trichromacy theory. Trichromacy theory. If this three type of the cone cells are activated in equal number, by that way finally person is able to detect the white color, then that theory is said to be as the trichromacy theory. Again, this is said to be as the posterior part of the retina. This is said to be as the posterior margin of retina. This is the posterior margin of retina. In the posterior part of the retina, whatever the depression which is present like this, that depression is said to be as the macula lutea or yellow spot. So on the posterior margin of retina, whatever the depression which is present, that is said to be as the macula lutea or the yellow spot. In the yellow spot, where more and more number of the cone cells are accumulated, in macula lutea, where more and more number of the cone cells are accumulated, rod cells are completely absent. That part is said to be as the fovea centralis. That part is said to be as the fovea centralis. Definitely in the case of the macula lutea, like this. This is the macula lutea. In this particular area, if more and more number of the cone cells are accumulated, rod cells are completely absent, that particular part is said to be as the fovea centralis. That is said to be as the fovea centralis. In the fovea centralis, only cone cells are present but not the rod cell. More and more number of the cone cells are present in the case of the fovea centralis, but not rod cell. This kind of the fovea centralis is useful for sharp and central vision. This fovea centralis is principally useful for the sharp and central vision. Means it is useful for the high resoluted vision. High resoluted means high clarity. Definitely it is useful for high resoluted vision. Resolution means clarity. Resolution nothing but clarity. This is the area which is useful for the sharp and central vision. Means definitely if all this kind of the cone cells are activated simultaneously, definitely that leads to the high clarity of vision. So that is said to be as the sharp and central vision. That is nothing but high resoluted vision. This high resoluted vision or sharpened central vision is necessary for walking. Definitely this is useful for the walking. This is necessary for driving. This is necessary for reading. Definitely for reading, for driving, for walking, this central as well as the sharp vision must be required. That is the high resolution vision must be required. So definitely when we visit a cloth showroom, immediately salesman switch on all lights. So why he switch on all lights means in the presence of the bright light, all this kind of the cone cells which are present in the fovea centralis are becomes active. By that way they immediately causes the high resolution vision. By that way, though the cloth is in dim color, which is in dim color in front of us, that will be look like as the bright in color finally. So definitely when we visit the cloth showroom, immediately salesman switch on all lights. During that, bright light is entered into our eye. That bright light must be activated. Cone cells of fovea centralis. As a result of this, these cells are involved in the high resolution vision. By that way, though cloth which is present in front of us is dim in color, but that is look like as the bright in color because of due to the high resolution vision. In that way, definitely fovea centralis is responsible for sharpened central vision with high resolution vision. That is necessary for the walking, for the driving, for the reading. At the same time, from this kind of the ganglionated cells, optic nerve fibers are arises. Like that, definitely from that kind of the ganglionated cell, optic nerve fibers are arises. All that kind of the optic nerve fibers are aggregated and finally they may be leave eyeball through a opening. That kind of the opening is said to be as the optic disc. This is said to be as the optic disc or white spot. That is said to be as the white spot or blind spot. That is said to be as the blind spot. From the posterior margin of ganglionated cell, from the posterior part of the ganglionated cells, optic nerve fibers, these are said to be as the optic nerve fibers, they are arises. All that kind of the optic nerve fibers are aggregated, finally form the optic nerve. This optic nerve exit eyeball through a opening that is said to be as the optic disc or the white spot or the blind spot, where cones and rods are absent. Definitely in the case of the optic disc or white spot or the blind spot, both the cone cells as well as the rod cells are not present. By that way, image formation is also not taken place where. In this particular area, image formation is not occurs. This is only meant for allowing the exit of the optic nerve from the eyeball to out. So in that way, posteriorly whatever the opening which is present where cones and rods are completely absent, where image formation is not taken place, that opening is said to be as the optic disc or the white spot or the blind spot. Through that this optic nerve is exit to the out. Definitely this is said to be as the optic nerve. This is the optic nerve that exit eyeball through that kind of the optic disc or the white spot. Next to another structure which is present, that is said to be as the lens. This is said to be as the lens. This is the lens. Definitely this lens is held in its original position with the help of the suspensory ligaments. Ciliary process which arises from the ciliary body on both sides. The ciliary process which arises from the ciliary body on both sides, which may be attaches to the lens, which may be held the lens in its original position. That kind of the structures are said to be as the suspensory ligaments. These are the suspensory ligaments. This is the lens. Again, lens is transparent. Definitely lens is transparent, means definitely it allows the pass of the light through it. It is also avascular. It is also without blood supply. Again, it is also refractile. It can reflect the light onto the retina. Definitely, at first from the visible field, from the environment or from the visible field, light is falls on conjunctiva. From the conjunctiva, light is reflected onto the cornea. Later, cornea reflect the light onto the lens through the pupil. Later, this lens reflect the light onto the both sides of the retina. Definitely మనకు లైట్ యొక్క పాసింగ్ ఎలా జరుగుతుంది అంటే, at first from the visible field, light is reaches to the conjunctiva. This is said to be as the conjunctiva. Later conjunctiva reflect the light onto the cornea. This is said to be as the cornea. Later cornea reflect light onto the lens through the pupil. This opening is said to be as the pupil. Later lens reflect the light onto the both sides of the retina. In that way, lens is transparent. Definitely that allows the pass of the light through that. That's also without blood supply. So that is the avascular. That also reflect the light onto the both sides of the retina. So that only that is the refractile. Next to, it is with biconvex in nature. It is with the biconvex nature, means like this. Definitely this lens which is present in our eye, that is biconvex in nature. Next to, what are the chambers which are present in the eye of the person? What kind of the chambers are present means, these chambers are of two types. Principally, chambers which are present in the eye of the person are of two. One is the aqueous chamber. Second one is said to be as the vitreous chamber. Definitely, what is the aqueous chamber means, as we are discussed earlier, the chamber which is present between the cornea and the lens. Definitely this is the cornea. the space which is present between the cornea and the lens, this space is said to be as the aqueous chamber. In this space, whatever the fluid which is present, that is said to be as the aqueous humor, that is secreted from ciliary process. From this kind of the ciliary process, that aqueous humor is secreted. Similarly, into the, what is the vitreous chamber means? The space which is present between the lens and the retina. This is the retina of both sides. This is the lens. This is the space. The space which is present behind the lens, between the two sides of the retina, that space is said to be as the vitreous chamber, in which whatever the fluid which is present, that is said to be as the vitreous humor. That is said to be as the vitreous humor. Definitely it is the liquid in state, it is the colloidal in state or jelly like. Definitely both of them useful to cause intraocular pressure. What is the meaning of the intraocular pressure? Definitely this fluid which is present in this area continuously pushes the both sides of the retina to prevent the collapsing. Definitely here vitreous humor which is present, that continuously pushes both sides of the retina to prevent its collapse, that is said to be as the intraocular pressure. Similarly, aqueous chamber also, aqueous chamber is with aqueous humor, that also continuously pushes the cornea to the out in order to prevent its collapsing. In that way, this both aqueous humor and vitreous humor exert pressure on either side of the walls of the eyeball to prevent their collapsing. That is said to be as the intraocular pressure. So definitely this aqueous humor which is present, that supply the nutrient material to the cornea, that supply the nutrient material to the conjunctiva, that supply the nutrient material to the lens also. Because conjunctiva is without blood supply, cornea is without blood supply, lens also is without blood supply. So that only from where they receive the nutrient materials means this conjunctiva, cornea, lens always receive nutrient material from the aqueous humor. Definitely aqueous humor perform two type of the function. One, it exert intraocular pressure. Second, it supply nutrient material to the conjunctiva, to the cornea, to the lens also. Because these three type of the structures are without blood supply, they are with the avascular nature. So that only they receive the nutrient material from the aqueous humor. Then vitreous humor useful to get cause the to exert the intraocular pressure on both sides of the retina to prevent its collapsing. This is the structure of eye. Before going to the working of the eye, mechanism of the working of the eye, in objective, what are the important points means? So definitely we have to compare this eye with the camera. Definitely eye of the person can be comparable with the camera. Then what are the parts of the eye which may be comparable with the what parts of the camera? Means definitely when we observe the parts of camera comparable parts of the camera and comparable parts of eye. First, box. Box of camera comparable with sclera. Box of camera can be comparable with sclera of eye. Second, inner black color. Inside of the camera, whatever the black color which is present, that comparable with the choroid. That will be comparable with the choroid of the eye. Third, shutter. Shutter which is present, that will be comparable with the eyelids. That will be comparable with the eyelid and iris. Sorry, diaphragm. Diaphragm will be comparable with the iris. Again, light passing hole. Light passing hole can be comparable with the pupil. Next, to photographic film. Photographic film comparable with the retina. Photographic plate or photographic film can be comparable with the retina. Very, very important in NEET examination point of view. So, what are the parts of the camera which can be comparable with the eye of the person? What are the parts of the camera which are comparable with the eye of the person? Box can be comparable with the sclera. Inner black color can be comparable with the choroid. Shutter can be comparable with the eyelid. Diaphragm can be comparable with the iris. Light passing hole can be comparable with the pupil. Photographic film can be comparable with the retina. Next, what are the avascular structures? What are the opaque structures in the case of the eye of the person overallly? What are the avascular parts of eye? What are the structures which are without blood supply? Means one is the conjunctiva, second cornea, third sclera, fourth lens. These are without blood supply. So they are the avascular parts. Next, to opaque parts of eye. Opaque parts of eye means what are the parts which are may not allows the passing of the light through them? What are the structures which may not allows the passing of the light through them, which are non-transparent? Means one is iris, second one ciliary body, third one is the melanin pigmented sheath. melanin pigmented sheath or the opaque in nature, they may not allow the pass of the light through them. They may not allow the pass of the light through them. That is nothing but opaque part of the eye.
ఇంటర్మీడియట్ విద్యారంగంలో అగ్రగామి మన ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్. ఐఐటి జేఈఈ అయినా నీట్ అయినా తిరుగులేని విద్యా సంస్థ ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్.